everyone, for this video we're taking a look at the B-153 GT customized set. It comes with 4 Beyblades, Erase Fafnir, Sting, Trick with the weight of 10, Cosmo Dragon, Retsu, Vanguard, Revolve, Prime Apocalypse, Regalia Genesis, which by the way, Regalia Genesis is spelled with a gamma Y, I'm pretty sure, and then after Apocalypse has the A for alpha in the Greek alphabet. So it's really cool, this set. So this set actually introduces two new bays, and it has a new system called the MUGEN LOCK system, also known as the Infinite Lock system. So what it basically means is that these bays can't really burst. Now, doesn't mean you can't burst them at all. You can burst them, it's just going to be super hard. If you thought you chose the Awakening bays were hard to burst, these bays are way harder to burst. So these bays are going to be like the counter to the Chosen Awakening bays for, bays that are sort of impossible to beat. So the only really cool thing about the parts for this is really just the fact that we get Prime Apocalypse, which has Zero Tagger, Ultimate Reboot Dash. The new driver is Hybrid. Hybrid just like a Ripfire driver. So you have to make sure you set the gear to either left or right. So if you're using a left bay, like let's say Zwei Longinus or Fafnir, or Erase Diabolos for an example, you set it to left, and then after the gear works in left. Or if you want to switch it to right, you switch it to right, and then after it goes for right bays, like this one, and whatever. It's basically sort of like, think of like the Hasbro, like RC, and kind of like Ripfire tips, except just a little bit better, I would say. So this has a little motor in it. So how this works basically is that in battle, depending on how hard you launch it, it's basically gonna, the motor is gonna activate. So if I launch it soft, it's not gonna really do anything. If I launch it normal, it'll activate. If I launch it really hard, I think it's supposed to go multiple times the motor. But yeah, I'm not really a fan of Regalia. I like Apocalypse a lot more, not because of the appearance, because in terms of performance. Because I'm pretty sure this one doesn't have the same locking thing as this one does. I think in the instructions even it says like it has one click or something like that compared to this one. So that's a little bit But let's just go to the sides real quick. The side actually shows off some combos. Like for starters, let's see, that's Regalia Genesis, Vanguard Ultimate Reboot, then after Prime Apocalypse, Sting, Trick. With the other side being Erase Fafnir, Zero Dagger, Revolve, and then Cosmo Dragon, Hybrid. So going over to the back, we have our 2 new owners for these bays. So they're part of the Hell organization. I really wish I was making up that name. So basically what their goal is, I guess, is just to sort of like... So Arthur's goal, basically what it said on his character bio was... basically his goal is just to destroy anyone that comes in his way. If nobody wants to join them, he'll just destroy their bay. And he's pretty cool blader, I would say. So the full name for the owner for Prime Apocalypse is Arthur, I believe it's Percival. So Percival and the name Arthur both are in reference to King Arthur, which I thought was really cool. I think Percival was, what was it? It was one of the knights for King Arthur, I'm pretty sure. And then after we've got the person right here, kind of like, I honestly like the design a lot more for this character than the Apocalypse one. The owner for this one is Ronnie Guin. Now I believe it's also related to King Arthur, which I thought is really cool, the tale of King Arthur. And what I really like too is that, for the main bay of Arthur, it's sort of like him owning like an Excalibur bay. Now this is not GT Excalibur, but it's GT Excalibur, if you get what I mean. It's like, it's not Excalibur, but it basically is what Excalibur would be for GT. It's really cool. The other bays are really not that important. Now what this explains right here is just that the locks will just keep on rotating. So I know what a lot of people are going to be thinking, these bays are going to be impossible to beat and destroy, and these bays are the worst. Now, I still think the Infinite Lock bays are kind of like a little bit, I don't want to say broken, just sort of like, I don't know how I feel it's going to like play a role in the meta. It's just like, these things can't really burst. And even if the slopes on these, by the way, these have slopes, are weak, that's still not going to like change much, really, if we're going to be honest. Like, what? Maybe it can, because these bays probably can pack a good hit. I mean, I guess we'll see in the video. But I actually did already open the bays. So I just want to explain how this lock-in system works, because there is the instructions, and I know people are going to get confused on it. So here I have Regalia Genesis. So I would go part by part in a second, but just to show you this bay. So basically how it works, to take it apart, we have the layer right here, right? So let's say you want to put it together. Okay, so all you got to do, you got to put this part here, and you got to make sure you hold the 2 tabs, and then you twist it, and it goes like that. So the thing is, with this bay, I just do a little trick where I just do this, and that way it's easier to launch. Because with this one, since the slopes suck for this, it's basically just like if I do this, like if I get to this point, burst. So a trick is going to be that when you're assembling this, hold on, let me lock it together. You just turn it to the side just a little bit, just make sure not too rough, and then after you got it like this, when the eyes align on this thing, when the evil eyes align, you're going to hear that lock-in sound. Because the whole thing is that these tabs the tabs on this are really weird. Apocalypse is way better. When they're pushed out like this, it'll just keep on going around. You see what I mean? But the thing is, with a Regalia Genesis, because the tabs are like weak and whatever, it doesn't really lock in completely. So if you're going up against a Regalia bay, you should be a little bit more confident than I would say Apocalypse, at least with the driver on it. I don't know. Regalia is not that bad. No, I would say it's like okay. I'm just like I'm on the fence about it. So with Apocalypse, just to show you it, Apocalypse is the same thing. So look, if you want to disassemble Apocalypse, all you got to do, same thing with this one, hold the tab, twist it, and that's it. So you can see right here, this does have slopes. So make sure you align these little tab things right here onto the thing, get your driver on there, and then after hold the bottom part, twist it, and then you got the lock-in. So now, look, goes all the way. So that way, you pretty much have an invincible bay. So as we can see, these 2 bays are pretty powerful. So just to move on a second, I've got the instructions right here, which I do want to show, since I know people will get confused a bit. So I already basically explained like the major part of it, and I did actually make sure to get translation notes there in case I mess anything up. So I've already explained how this works. Make sure that this, you see how it has the red eyes and the red little center in the middle? Make sure that's aligned if you want to disassemble it. Make sure to be very gentle with this stuff, because even if they have slopes and whatever, don't break it. So there's a tool right here. This little tool right here is just to take out the batteries on this one if the batteries die. So just to show on the other side, it's really not that hard to disassemble it. You just gotta get a screwdriver or whatever, open it. Then after this little thing, I guess take out the tab on the batteries. And that's it. So nothing really to stress about with this stuff. So now I'm just going to show off this part of the instructions, which you can see right there. This is explaining how it can go from one way to the other, depending on what you have the motor set to. For launchers, I'd recommend you to use, it recommends the Dragon launch. I just call it the Dragon Winder. It's basically just the one that comes with Diabolos and Dragon, or if you even have the legendary base set thing, use that. I did try using a string launcher. You can use a string launcher. I just say it's better to use ripcord because it's easier to get them set on and everything. So that's kind of it. So I basically explained how these bays are to assemble. They're not that bad at all. And now we're just going to go briefly part by part, weigh it out, and then after we'll, do that. All right, here we have the scale, and we're going to go part by part. Got the scale set up. So this is Regalia Genesis. This is the layer. They have metal right here and here. Same with Apocalypse. They just have metal on the sides, that's what just gives these bays the weight. I guess these sides here, if they make contact, probably help you with the burst. It is a defense type layer. And by the way, these are what the slopes look like on the thing. So if you want to see, it's actually really weird. Well, I mean, I guess it makes sense they have slopes because they have to move all the way around. So weighing this is about 26.65, and weighing probably the heaviest driver, 38.75. So to give you perspective, charge is only like 14. So pretty heavy. Pretty heavy. This thing is like no joke. So putting the whole thing together, we get to a total of 65 grams. That's pretty heavy. So something I want to show real quick. Okay, if you want to turn it on, all you got to do is a little switch. That's it. So if you want to switch it to left and right, there's a little gear here. If I want to go left, hold on. There you go. I'll put it there. If I want it right, I put it there. It's indicated by the LR that's on it. So if you get confused, there you go. Prime Apocalypse, which I think is probably the coolest one out of this whole set, the one that I actually love a lot. This is in the shape of Excalibur. This thing will pack some powerful hits. So this is the point right here, which I really like. The little Excalibur sword point. I just like the design of this a lot. And I'm just going to assemble it. So the layer on its own is about 26.04. So these things aren't really that light. And it's good they at least have metal around it. So that's really good. So we've got the Zero Disc, which is about 23.75. We then after got the Red Dagger, that's transparent, 2.58. Then after we've got Dagger, which is 8.41. So these bays are pretty heavy, I would say. Pretty heavy. Like, really no joke. Really no joke. So let me just try to get this assembled. Alright, all together now, we got 60.04. Or 60.84, I mean. Then after, look, like Ace Dragon, 63. So, you know, Apocalypse gets pretty close to Dragon's weight. I think this one actually does surpass it. Which is like crazy, to be honest. So the next one, it's a race Fafnir. The 10 weight's good. The Fafnir chip is whatever. It's not that bad. The Red Sting, 28.81 in the individual parts. The other cool thing I like about this bay is just that with the erase base, you can get the Diabolos from the World Hobby Fair on that one, and it'll match it. 10.31 grams, and then after with the 10 weight, 8.36, and then after the Fafnir chip, 2.72, and all the stuff together, you know, what, 10 grams, that trick, whatever. You know, the Fafnir does look nice, I'm not gonna lie. I don't know, I really would have wanted Trick Dash, you know? 60.22. Alright, next up is Cosmo Dragon. The Cosmo layer base is actually good. That it's being accessible in this set. I had to make sure I phrased that correctly. The Cosmo base is kind of meh, it's not really that special. 11.37. Retsu, 8.64. Dragon Chip, 2.71. And then after that, we're going to do the purple Vanguard. I think Vanguard and Revolve are just the good parts to get in this. 26.51. Revolve, 5.81. Alright, all together now, we've got 55.03. So I got all these bays. It's going to be like really crazy. We're going to do a lot of battles, but first the test launch. So we erased Fafnir with Trick. I could care less about Trick. I don't really like it. Trick just works like this. You can either be in attack, or he might even be in defense. Who knows? Who knows? I don't like Trick at all. I really hate that driver. It's not good at all. It's really just trashy. Cosmo Dragon next. The one that I will say is obviously Erase Fafnir looks super nice when it's spinning around. Same with Cosmo Dragon. Alright. So that was Cosmo Dragon. I'm trying to do the test launches really quick just because the battles are what really matter for this portion of the video. So that is Prime Apocalypse. So how it works is that Ultimate Reboot is semi-flat at the start, and then after, when it loses a lot more stamina, like this, you can see the attack pattern goes to this, and it just goes with more aggressive attacks. So the next one, and I'll show it both with the left motor and the right motor, is going to be Regalia Genesis. So I already have the bay rights here set up, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to lock it on my string launcher. Activate it. Oh no! Yeah, probably be careful is what I meant by saying, hey, this bay is kind of easy to burst. Yeah, sometimes if you don't do it right, it will pop out the launcher, so yeah, I guess I just demonstrated what you shouldn't do. There we go. Yeah, there we go. You can see, lights and everything. Then it goes around. Yeah. That's how it basically works. Just make sure you launch really hard if you're going to use the hybrid. That's in general. Well, not in general, actually. That's just like for most things. Not every single thing. But if we want to switch it to left, we just got to switch the gear right here from R to L. We'll get Zwei. Listen to those clicks, God. Let's get Zwei. Zwei with hybrid. I actually don't know how good that would be. I think Zwei would be... Zwei with hybrid might not even be that bad. Because I'm just thinking of all the metal contact points that thing would have. I think even hybrid on the Chozi Awakening base, God, I do not want to even think about that. That would be actually pretty good. Well, actually, I mean, I guess it depends. I have to do a lot of testing, so I guess I'll hold off any other comments, but let me make sure I switch that back to right. We're going to do battles now. The rest of this video is just going to be battles. So obviously, the first one, just to get it out of the way, Cosmo Dragon, erase Fafnir, it's gonna be a real surprise when Dragon wins. Yeah, the one thing I will say about these bays is that, you know, they just look nice. I mean, not really the Dragon one. I don't really like the Dragon one in the Cosmo base. It kind of just looks really plain looking, but, you know, with everything else considered, like, look at this. Like, the colors just, like, kind of blend well for this set. I really like it. And the Fafnir is probably what I say I just really love, just looking at the colors and everything, just like... Wow. It's just nice. It's just nice looking at these bays. The last thing I just want to show real quick is just the locks on these things before I do anything else. So, let's get this thing off the thing. I think I already showed off the slopes on these bays, but I just want to make sure I showed off everything so that way you could just see what the bottom of the bays look like before anything else. So, let's get this one out. Trying to see it. There you go. And, yeah, we're just going to begin now. So I call this one the Chozi Awakening test. Basically what this test is I make a battle against Chozi Awakening bays and I see how well they perform. Now, this is usually just a good test to do because the Chozi Awakening bays still, because of how crazy they went with it, kind of like I mean, like Chozi's kind of like those bays that can still put up a fight against GT. There's only a few GT bays that can kind of change up the game, like Lord and Joker, or Lord and Judgment, I should say. So here's the hoping it works. So we're gonna first do it against, we'll do Apocalypse against Chozi Achilles first, why not? And hopefully this goes out well. Actually, let me just make sure, because I actually forgot that Achilles with that dimension tip just goes really wild. Hold on. So, the only way you can burst these bays, which I think I did already explain, you just gotta hit the tab, and if the eyes align and you hit the tab, that's how you can burst them. And in Regalia's case, just a lot of strong hits, and that's how you can stop it. Like, it's not hard to take down Regalia, it's more hard to take down Apocalypse, which, yeah, no, it is what it is. So, it did a pretty good job against Achilles, I must say. I really must say. So Achilles is gonna be in its tallest height now. Yeah, see, it can deliver those powerful hits against Achilles, but the thing is, like, you know, these bays aren't, like, any joke still. Like, these bays are still pretty good. In terms of just, like, attack power, I should say. So, Apocalypse against Chozi Achilles, you know, even if Apocalypse can deliver those good hits, I might not always be able to stop it. That's the one thing I don't like about Apocalypse, is just that the ultimate reboot always kicks in when I don't want it to, even when you hard launch it. I'm gonna try to launch as hard as I can for Apocalypse. I want to see carnage. I want to see a burst. What? I mean, come on! Are you kidding me? It's not... I didn't really get what I wanted out of that match. What was that? Come on. It hit it. I mean, I kind of got a burst, but that's not the burst I wanted. What? All right, let's launch this one again. After we'll just move on to the other bays. Oh, now it wants to stay in the center. Yeah, okay, buddy. I'm so tempted just to give it a different tip to see how well it would do. You know, matter of fact, hold on. No, I'm gonna prove a point, because Ultimate Reboot, like in a different, like in a regular stadium, yeah, it's not gonna have that problem I'm having right now. But this is our special stadium, and we gotta establish a point right now, and I will establish that point. Achilles will not try to push around my Apocalypse Bay. I'm gonna give Apocalypse Extend Plus just for this, just to show. See, how come when I give Apocalypse the regular tip to stay in the center, Achilles doesn't stay in the center? Ah, whatever. Alright, well, I guess I pretty much just showed the point that, yeah, can't really go too hard with the launch. Whatever. Most of the rounds were just against Chozy Achilles, which, you know, Chozy Achilles is really good with its attack. I just figured just to do that. I guess I'll do it against beys that people should know in the meta, like Union. Against Union, it should have really no problem. Well, I mean, if it keeps on hitting the wall, I guess, but I have actually seen times where it can burst Union Achilles, so I really just want to point that out. Alright, we're gonna try just one more test launch against Union. After that, I'll just do one round for everything else. Come on! The thing is, you know, I'm kind of glad these beys don't have a middle contact point in this case, because if they already have the infinite lock, I don't really want... Yeah, by the way, I got to like this far, and I almost beat Union in power mode, which is a good thing. Look, I don't want these beys having these crazy powers, because then after they would be pretty broken. So next up is against Chozy Valkyrie. I think the Awakening base will just be unmatched, to be honest. Or not, or fair play, You know, that's also a thing. That's also a point to make. Wow, it hit two of the stuff. Okay. Fair play indeed. After that, I'm just gonna do one battle against, I guess, Lord. I would do Judgment, but no, Lord's just better to test against. Look at that! Yeah, so Chozy Spriggan can still beat it. Let's just get Lord Spriggan into this, so... This is, by the way, Lord and Right. Yeah, so these beys aren't... Yeah, you can see what I mean when I say these beys are not really, like... You shouldn't really worry about these beys. They're not really that special, to be honest, you know. We're gonna do Regalia now. I would say these beys aren't really, like, crazy top tier or anything like that. Godforsaken, no. I do not think that. Hold on, let me just make sure when I launch this. Okay. Just wanted to make sure. Hold on, let me make sure this dumb thing locks in. Okay, we're gonna do Regalia Genesis. Okay, Regalia Genesis. So you see what I mean? It was like a double burst, so... That's what I mean when I say I don't like the white one. Like, the white one probably has good defense, but it's really hard to use and just master these beys. Not even master, just to, like, properly get the launch on these beys. That's why I'm really, like, not crazy of a fan of them. It's so, like, you know what I mean? I just wish these beys were a little bit better. But, yeah, that was one battle against Chozy Achilles. I don't think I'm gonna go all the way just with this one. So I think I'll just Yeah, against Chosi Valkyrie. There you go. Also, make sure to get Union. Moving on, we're gonna do a Chosi Spriggan. Again, it's sort of like, eh. You know what, these beys, like, eh. It's not really that special. So now the thing should kick in. Or maybe I'm wrong. No, there we go. Yeah, there we go. Now the motor's kicked in. So yeah, I kind of won at the end. The spin finish. Let's just try to get the last few done. Obviously, Lord. Well, it's making Lord go like crazy. Ah, you see, there we go. Burst finish. So you can see what I mean. These beys are not Apocalypse, more specifically Regalia Genesis is not that special. Because look, by the way, make sure you line it on the two little arrow things there. I don't know if I already said that. I think we're just gonna do one last battle against Union, and then we'll try to do one big battle for the end. All right, who's gonna get it? Union or Genesis? Alright, whatever. We'll do one last battle with, I guess, Genesis against Apocalypse, and then I guess I'll maybe end it off with all the beys. Well, they can't burst each other, so I guess we're gonna end it off with the big little, the final battle. Oh, wow. One of them actually did burst in the whole... Wow, okay. Alright, so, my rating for this set, I'd probably give it like... I don't know, I think I really just like the 3-pack from before. Like, what was it? The triple booster thing, whatever. Because Lord's still really good. Are these beys crazy good? Not really. They're kind of like alright. I'd probably give the highest for these two maybe an 8. I think the white one would probably just be a 7, just of how easy it is to burst, but, you know, that's kind of it. These beys aren't that crazy powerful. They're just alright. I don't know. It's really weird, because when you go from Chosi to having all this metal, then you go to GT, where they don't even have any metal at all, and then after make some really just like outclassed with some of the heavier beys. So all you really need to do is just use Chosi Valkyrie, or I guess more specifically, just use Chosi Achilles against, you know, or Zwei. You know, beys with metal on them could probably deal a good amount of damage. I mean, in this video, pretty much showed they can burst. That's kind of it for now. Anyways, thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.